Welcome, listeners, to a journey of empowerment, collaboration, growth in the Agile space. Get ready to dive deep into the heart of Scrum as we explore the guiding principles that form the foundation of high-performing teams. What are these? These are the Scrum Values. Have you ever wondered what sets exceptional teams apart from the rest? Now, interestingly, it's not just about following a set of rules or processes. It's about embracing a set of core values that foster collaboration, courage, and continuous improvement. Now, fortunately for you, in today's podcast, we'll examine the Scrum values and discover how they can transform ordinary teams into extraordinary ones. Interesting, right? So what am I going to say to you? Join us today as we delve into each of the 5 Scrum values. In case you don't know, they are commitment, courage, focus, openness, and respect. And today we'll uncover their significance in driving success and innovation within Scrum teams. So whether you're a seasoned Scrum Master or a curious newcomer to the world of Agile or Scrum, or simply someone passionate about building high-performing teams, this podcast is for you. So subscribe now to stay updated to our latest episodes and join us on this exciting journey of discovery, of learning, and of growth. Don't miss out. Hit that follow button right now and let us make every sprint a success together. So we are back. So welcome to today's podcast. We're looking at the Scrum Values. So what are we talking about really when we talk about Scrum Values, right? So now you have to understand that, very important, that Scrum, beyond being just a framework for project management or for delivering value, it is underpinned by a set of core values that serve as guiding principles for teams striving for excellence in their endeavors. Now, these values, when embraced and integrated into the fabric of the team's culture, can fuel collaboration, focus, agility, and ultimately leading to greater success in achieving project goals or delivering value to the customers. So we're going to take some time to look at each of these 5 values. Like I mentioned before, the commitment, focus, respect, openness, commitment, right? So let's look at commitment first of all. And what would you say? Commitment is a promise or a firm dedication to achieving a specific goal or outcome, right? Demonstrating determination and perseverance despite challenges, right? So let's look at it this way. So look at the Scrum team committed to delivering a new feature by the end of the sprint, right? So they planned that during their sprint planning. Now, in the process of doing that, they're faced with unexpected challenges and setbacks. But the team members remain dedicated to their goal, working tirelessly to overcome the obstacles and to meet their commitment, right? So what are we saying? It's important because commitment ensures that the team members are fully invested in achieving their objectives. It fosters accountability, it drives momentum, and instills confidence in the stakeholders. And this enhances trust and collaboration within the team. The team are more reliable, basically. So that's commitment. Now let's look at courage. What do you say? You say courage is the ability to confront fear, adversity, or uncertainty with bravery and resolve, enabling the team members to take bold actions and pursue their goals, despite potential risks or obstacles, right? So let's look at this example. Now I mentioned the team, right? Now imagine an example where, let's say the Scrum Master, right, in the midst of all that they're doing, observes something and then raises a concern about a risky decision being proposed by, let's say, the product owner or a business lead or something. Now that happens during the sprint planning meeting. Now imagine the potential conflict that could happen by the Scrum Master actually just saying, hey, I don't think we can do this. Maybe the Scrum Master saying, oh, we are committing to a bit too many stories, looking at how we performed in the last sprint. It might have been the story that was told, or maybe this feature that we're planning to do because it's so important, we have to do this. Whatever is attached to it, but the Scrum Master pulling back and saying, hey, I know we would like to do this, but let's be realistic. Now that takes some level of courage, right? To actually step out and go, let's look at this again. I'm not sure we can actually do it, right? So, and in this situation, you realize if the Scrum Master is correct, what he or she has done is basically advocated for what is in the best interest for the team and for the overall project or for the product. So what are we saying? If there's courage in the team, it empowers individuals to speak up, to challenge the status quo, to address issues transparently. Courage promotes a culture of openness, innovation, and continuous improvement where team members can feel safe right? To take risks and explore new possibilities and even raise issues, because in the end, you want a Scrum team to be alive. Now, if you look at these values, you can see that when we look at Scrum or we say transparency, inspection, adaptation, you can see where these things come in, right? So that's number 2. Now let's look at the third one. Let's look at focus, right? Now, what do we say focus is? Focus is the ability to concentrate attention and effort on a specific task or a goal or an objective. It eliminates or excludes distractions and maintaining clarity and determination to achieve desired outcomes. Now, you look at a Scrum team, they've done their sprint planning. They are now in the daily Scrum. Now, imagine a team not having focus in the daily Scrum. The conversations can go out of whack. They can actually pick up stories to work on that have no focus to the sprint goal. Now look at how Scrum does it. At the daily Scrum, they inspect and adapt their progress towards the sprint goal. In other words, they sharpen their focus towards the sprint goal. You see that? Even when you look at the events in Scrum, they are directed at certain things. So the daily Scrum is you inspect and adapt your progress towards the sprint goal. The sprint retrospective is you inspect and adapt their ways of working. But those meetings are efficient and effective when they are focused on the objective of the meeting. So you can see that. So, look at a Scrum team that is hyper-focused on delivering the highest priority user story during the sprint. What do? Because they're hyper-focused, they resist the temptation to deviate from the sprint goal. They avoid distractions that may derail their progress. And they ensure that they deliver the valuable increments of work by the end of the iteration of the sprint. So what are we saying? Focus enables teams to channel their efforts towards the most important task and objective. So by maintaining clear focus, right, the teams can maximize their productivity, minimize, very importantly, waste, and then of course deliver their incremental value to the customers, which make the customers happy, which make the teams effective and efficient, and very importantly make the teams reliable because they can focus on the thing that needs to happen. They are focused, right? So we've done focus. Now let's look at openness. What are we saying? Openness is the willingness to communicate transparently, to share ideas, and consider diverse perspectives, fostering an environment of honesty and collaboration and continuous learning. Now, when you go into the sprint planning, into all the Scrum events, even just daily working, without openness, what members of the Scrum team will do is try to find what is their accepted opinion and stick to it. But then you lose the collective intelligence of the room. But if there's openness, what will happen is that you have Scrum team members that can contribute openly and clearly and courageously and boldly to the idea pool. And what happens, we talk about self-organizing teams, right? That you get the best out of motivated people in a team. Now, with openness enables enables the team to contribute. So you have team members that can contribute openly to what is going on. Thereby, you get the best result possible, right? And that's why it's very important. That's why even as a Scrum Master, you don't shut down conversations. You allow them fester on to come to the end result. Because in the end, if you allow everyone share their ideas, it might look like it's a mayhem of ideas, but it's a better place to be directing effort than to be looking for effort or looking for ideas to come out, right? So what are we saying? Imagine in a retro. Okay, let's look at a retro, for example, right? If team members can openly share their perspectives on what went well, easy to do, on what could be improved or what didn't go so well, what happens? They engage in constructive dialogue, they listen attentively to each other's feedback, and collaborate to identify actionable insights for continuous improvement. What does that do? The team gets better because there's openness within the team. They can actually share their ideas openly without the fear of retribution or backlash. I can give you feedback based on what you did. You can give me feedback based on what I did. We can share feedback about how we did in the sprint. And what that does to the team, it makes us better because we know that when we've come in together here to look at what's happened within the sprint, I can boldly own up and say, I dropped the ball here. I didn't do what I was meant to do here. And someone can learn. I'll give you an example. There's a team I was on. And this particular team member that when we're talking about what went well or when it didn't go so well, she owned up and she was like, yeah, I wasted time on a particular piece of work because I thought I could solve it. But after wasting 2 days, I had to confer with my senior colleague, and he gave me a very simple structure. It was easy to work out. And then she said, based on that, this is her decision. As when she shared with the team, she made up her mind that if she's trying to get something done and she's stuck by 12, she will ask for help. Now, when I asked the team, what do you guys think about that? The team member said, do you know what, we'll adopt it. So on our actions board for the next sprint, it was written there in the statement, clearly what she said, if you're stuck by 12, ask for help. Now, if we didn't have openness within that retrospective, she might not have shared that example. Neither would the team have learned from her. So it would have been worse off. But because there was openness, you could share and we're better for it. You see, that's an example. So what are we saying? Openness fosters transparency. It fosters trust and mutual respect within the team. It encourages, very importantly, honest communication. It fosters a culture of learning and feedback and enables the team members to adapt and evolve in response to changing circumstances. Very important. Now, number 5, finally, we look at respect. Respect. Yeah, it is respect. It is. Okay, so what are we saying? Respect, when we define it, we say it's a regard for the feelings and rights and opinions of others. Regard. Right? What are we saying? We demonstrate consideration, courtesy, and acceptance towards individuals, regardless of differences. We're not the same, but I give regard to your feelings, your perspective, to your opinions. Right? I give it its space. We're equal in the team. Right? Now, what are we saying here? Okay, look, we're looking at the Scrum team, right? So imagine it's a Scrum team, right, that values the diverse perspectives and contributions of its team members. In that team, they actively listen to each other's opinions, their ideas, they respect the differences of opinion, and they celebrate individual strengths and talents, right? I can give you a very, very, very strong example. There was time I was in a team. This is very funny. So 2 team members had different ideas of how to actually build what we're building. And these were 2 senior team members. And they really, even though we didn't Scrum, we don't consider seniority. Everybody's flat, but these guys knew what they're talking about, basically. But they had 2 very strong opinions. Now, as a Scrum Master, what did I do there? I didn't say, oh, this guy is right, this guy is wrong. I was like, I actually celebrated. I was like, this is fantastic. Positive conflict. You are committed enough to the work to actually have a stand to say, I think this is the best way to do it. So what I tell the team, I said, okay, that's perfect. We are a team here, we'll decide. So I said, do you know what? Go home today, put together a presentation for the team tomorrow. Same thing with you. Present to the team and let the team pick which is the best option. And interesting, they went home, they put their PowerPoint slides together, put everything together, really, really nicely. And in the morning after daily Scrum, they all presented to the team and the team chose one. But you know what happened? We demonstrated respect. So no one's opinion was cut down. It was basically the team that decided. Now, interestingly, when we did that, let's say we chose person A's option, person B respected person A's option. I was like, yeah, I see what you've done there. I missed that point. Right? Now, if I as a Scrum Master had shut it down and gone, hey, we'll pick this, that would have been disrespectful. I'll have respected the other person's opinion, but as a Scrum Master, I encouraged it, and the team did the same. So that's how important it is. What are we saying? We're saying respect creates a supportive and inclusive environment of all the ideas, all the different perspectives of different people. We encourage that to fester in the team, right? And we're saying also, it allows members, every team member really, to feel valued and empowered to contribute their unique insights and skills. Oh, I can tell you another person. On that same team, when we were doing some work, there was one of the young guys there, and he had this idea for a user interface, how we should marry and match with the application that currently existed. And when he was asked why, he just said simply that it would be nice to plug into what currently exists, so that when someone that is new to the organization comes, doesn't see that, oh, this is a new application, just sees that it all works well together. And I was like, well, that's a really good idea. Now, he was a very young member of the team. Prior to when we started doing all these things, he would never speak. But he gave that idea, and everyone was like, wow, that was really good, fantastic. We didn't think about it, and it became the way we were working. So that's what happens when you have respect, right? And what are we saying? It cultivates also, chain of thoughts. I've gotten my chain of thoughts right. It cultivates a sense of belonging. It fosters collaboration. It drives collective success, right? So these are very important. These Scrum values, you can see all 5 of them. We talk about focus, talk about respect, openness, commitment, and courage. Yes, all 5 of them, right? And what are we saying? It's important to note that these 5 Scrum values serve as a bedrock of high-performing teams. It guides their actions, their decisions, and of course, their interactions. So what are we saying? If you embrace these Scrum values, right, Scrum teams can cultivate a culture of collaboration, focus, agility, and also enables them to navigate complexity, overcome challenges, and achieve success in their endeavors. Now, what are we saying? Basically, too long didn't read. The Scrum values are very important. It is important that as a team, as a Scrum Master of a team and as a team, that we embody these values, right? Now, there's a quote I read somewhere that I'd like to read out to you. Very interesting. It says, in the tapestry of high-performing teams, the threads of commitment bind us together. Courage propels us forward in the face of uncertainty. I'll tell that again. Courage propels us in the face of uncertainty. Focus sharpens our vision towards shared goals, and openness invites transparency and growth. And respect weaves a fabric of trust and collaboration. What are we saying? Embracing these values, we create a canvas where empowerment flourishes, innovation thrives, and success becomes not just a destination, but a journey we embark on joyfully together. What are we saying? The values are important, right? Now, very important. I know I've gone a bit longer than I usually would, but it's a part of the growth process of this podcast. So what are we saying here? As we draw this episode of this podcast to a close, I want to express my gratitude to each one of you for joining us in this enlightening journey together, looking at the Scrum values. So remember, the power of these values, very important, lies in not just understanding them, but in embodying them in our daily interactions and practices. Fantastic. Looking at our Scrum values, I hope you've learned a lot together. I hope you've actually learned from from focus, from respect, from openness, from courage, from commitment, and see now you can actually put this at work in your teams and even everything that you do. So if you've enjoyed today's episode, I want to stay connected for more insights, inspiration, for more updates on future episodes. Be sure to follow me on LinkedIn. My name is Temtope Aware. On our social media, you can search for us as Agile Matrix. Let's continue this conversation and keep the momentum going. And as we part ways now, I leave you with this thought to ponder on. There I go again. In the world of Agile, greatness is not achieved by individual brilliance, but by the collective commitment to embrace the Scrum values and soar together as one unstoppable force. So don't forget to stay tuned for more captivating content from the Agile Matrix podcast. Until next time, keep embracing the values, keep innovating, keep thriving in our Agile journey. Together we can transform the way we work and achieve extraordinary results. Thank you once again for tuning in, and see you in the next episode. Cheers.